What's up, guys? It's Dakota from S&D Entertainment, and this is a review of the NBA All-Star starters that got announced about a few weeks ago. I'm gonna go down the list, starting with the East. Kyrie Irving and LeBron James, starting from the Cleveland Cavaliers. DeMar DeRozan from the Toronto Raptors. Giannis Antetokounmpo, however the heck you say his name, for the Bucks, and Jimmy Butler from the Chicago Bulls. In the West, we have Steph Curry and Kevin Durant from the Golden State Warriors. We have James Harden from the Rockets, Anthony Davis from the Pelicans, and Kawhi Leonard from the Spurs. Um, I'm gonna go through player stats again, starting from the East. Kyrie Irving, who at the time about January 20th is where these averages and are coming from. He's played in 36 games, averaging 23.7 points, 3.5 rebounds, and 5.6 assists. While LeBron has played in 38 games with 25.5 points, 7.8 rebounds, and 8.3 assists. DeMar DeRozan has played in 42 games, has 28.2 points, 5.4 rebounds, and 3.9 assists per game. Giannis has played in 40 games, averaging close to 24 points, almost 9 boards, and 5.6 assists. Jimmy Butler, who's played in 41 games, is about 24.8 points, 6.8 rebounds, and 4.8 assists. In the West, we have Curry, who's played in 42 games, is averaging 24.6 points, 4.2 rebounds, and 6.1 assists. Kevin Durant, 42 games, 26.2 points, 8.6 rebounds, 4.7 assists. James Harden, 28.9 points, almost 8.5 rebounds, and just about 12 assists per game. Anthony Davis, who in 40 games is averaging 28.8 points, 12 rebounds, and 2.2 assists. And Kawhi Leonard, who's played in 40 games, is averaging 25.1 points, 5.7 rebounds, and 3.1 assists. So that's the rosters for the NBA All-Star Game. Those are the starters. One of the surprising numbers to me, um, well, other than the obvious of Russell Westbrook should be a starter in the West over Steph Curry, in my personal opinion. But kind of an amazing stat out east is of the two starters, Kyrie and LeBron have the least amount of games played in terms of all the starters, which obviously Kyrie and LeBron are playing amazing. Tyronn Lue's choosing to sit his guys, getting rather than be ready for the playoffs than try to put up huge numbers over the season. It's still kind of surprising that out of the close to 50 games that they've played so far this season, they're both of those guys has sat out roughly 20 plus games combined, and that's kind of crazy. And the Cavs are still, I believe, first in the East, so that's a good job for them. That's a testament to how they built their roster since LeBron came back in 2014. Um, as far as like the rosters and everything, I really don't have any complaints about who who made it. Really, the only uh, exception I would make is put Steph Curry to the bench, and you just have Russell Westbrook having an amazing season. He was averaging a triple double, 30 plus points, 10 plus rebounds, 10 plus assists. I mean, the guy's still able to get his Oklahoma City Thunder to win ball games. So really, I think he should be there. Westbrook is my favorite, and he was my early favorite after Kevin Durant left to win the MVP. So I full heartedly believe that he should win the MVP, and if he does end up winning it, then we're gonna have to have some questions asked about the All Star voting. Um, that's really all I have to say in terms of the roster. My thoughts. I think it's going to be a very entertaining game to watch, and while I wouldn't want it to be a more entertaining game, I want it to be like a tough game, kind of what baseball used to do. They done away with it. The All-Star game meant that the winning team of that game would give their division, or their conference rather, a home field advantage in the World Series. And I would like to see that happen in the NBA, just because I think it kind of gives players something to play for. Yeah, it kind of means like, oh, if you had the best record in the league, doesn't matter if your team didn't win the All Star game. I honestly think that it should be like that. It gives you something to play for in the All Star game. And football, I mean, that should just be for fun anyway. But in terms of baseball and basketball, who play their All Star games in the middle of the season rather than the end of the season, I really think that they should make the All Star game a little bit more of the um, coaches and players. Even though the players voting needs to be kind of regulated, and for the fans and stuff, I think they should be able to vote for who's in the 3 point contest, dunk contest, all that stuff. But the All Star game, if you end up making it, mean something, aka giving home court advantage to whatever conference or something, that you kind of count the fan vote a little bit lower than the guys who are playing in the NBA that are doing the voting, or whatever kind of system that you set up for this voting to get guys into the All Star game. If they don't do that, I'm totally fine with the fans voting, but I really feel like there's one important player that got left out. Of course, I know Curry's a really popular player, but in all honesty, it's kind of, it feels bad considering that the West just is loaded with players. I mean, you can make the argument for players like Damian Lillard could also have been a starter for the West. He's a really good player. It you'll never have the perfect All Star team. You always have players left out unless you could play like 10 guys on the court for each team at a time. Then people probably won't truly be happy. But personally, I feel like that's kind of a mistake on the NBA and the fans too, leaving out Russell Westbrook. And if he does end up winning the MVP, that's going to be kind of crazy that like this guy didn't even start in the All Star game when really he should have been. But yeah, I should have a video coming up soon, just talking about kind of reviewing All Star Weekend. I really want to see the different kind of skills challenges, the dunk contest, the 3 point contest, um, the All Star game. I'm not truly interested in it like I am the MLB All Star game, just because like the MLB All Star game was and used to be something that kind of meant something to the players, because again it gave them home field advantage to their conference in the World Series. And in the NBA, honestly, out of all these players on this list, like Jimmy Butler and Anthony Davis are the only two guys that I really care about. So really, that's how I feel about it. I'm not mad at the All Star game. I'm honestly looking forward to All Star weekend and everything. It's just the only complaint I have is Russell Westbrook not being the starter. I feel like the fans really missed out on that, and it's a shame. But life goes on. He'll continue to average triple double throughout the season, and hopefully win the MVP. And then who knows what they'll do in the playoffs. But that'll be another video for another day. That's where I'm gonna end it off. If you guys like the video, if you want to see me do more rambly type NBA videos or any sport in general, I kind of have a general knowledge of most of it. Like, I know they don't score a lot of touchdowns in basketball, but sometimes they get there. But that's it for this video. Be sure to catch another one. I'm gonna do a review of the All Star Weekend when I get a chance to. Hopefully, that after the All Star game and everything, like the day after, I can get time to sit down, record, and everything, get it all said and done, whatever, and we can we can all enjoy that. But yeah, that's gonna be it for the video. Make sure that you leave a like and a comment if you enjoyed. If you want to see more, um, it'd be very appreciated if you let me know. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.